Fantastic.
गणानां त्वा गणपतिं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् ॐ श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः। प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामवित्र्यवतु। ॐ श्रीवाग्देव्यै नमः। वन्दे गुरुपदद्वन्द्वमवाङ्मनसगोचरम् रक्तशुक्लप्रभामिश्रमतर्क्यं त्रैपुरं महः। श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्। Awesome. We'll get started. So we are starting Devi Mahatmyam, which is also called as Chandi Part, Chandi Saptashati, Durga Saptashati. There are many names to it, but the name that the original author has given it is called Devi Mahatmyam. So what we will do today is to just get some introduction of what Devi Mahatmyam is, and then we will look at some chanting rules. Many of you have learned Vishnu Sahasram and Lalita Sahasram over the last 4 years. So we'll go through chanting rules, depending if there are any new members in the group. We'll go through chanting rules. Then we will learn Durga Sapta Shloki, which is 7 key verses that are taken from the 700 shlokas of Devi Mahatmyam. We will finish that today, so you can do parayanam on a daily basis. And then we'll go through some FAQs, mantra diksha, and do we need mantra diksha? That's some some of the key questions, frequently asked questions. We'll go through that and any clarifications, and we'll chat a bit towards the end of the session. Anything we need to add to this? Awesome. We'll get started. So Chandi Homam, I think many would have most of us have heard Chandi Homam, Chandi Parayana, etc. So Devi Mahatmyam is 700 shlokas that are the mantras for Chandi Homam. So when we chant this, we are kind of doing the Chandi Yagam each time. So while we might not have the Agni Mukham, Agni Hotram, etc., but it is equivalent to a Chandi Yagam when we chant Devi Mahatmyam. So in the past, we've also learned that there are 5 kinds of ways we can worship Bhagavati or Bhagwan. One is Parayanam, which is chanting, Archana, which is doing puja, or Pujanam, Archana, or Pujanam is 2 different words for the same thing. Tarpanam, where we have also learned Tarpanam, many of us have learned, Ganapati Tarpanam. Then there is Marjanam, and then there is Homam. So there are the 5 ways to worship Bhagavan. So Parayanam is the first state. With the same mantras, you can always do Pujanam or Archanam essentially with Kunkumam or with Akshata, with Pushpas. There are many ways to, you can do Archana. You can do Tarpanam with the same mantras. So all these 5 different varieties are available. So when we do Homam, which is the ultimate kind, because, as we learned in the past, Homam is a way to offer to Bhagavan through Agnihotra or Agni, works as a messenger from us to the Bhagavan. We invoke into the Agni, so he passes on things to. So in Chandi Parayanam or when Chandi Homam, we offer saris, we offer so many things into Havis, etc., into the Homam, so it gets passed on to Devi. So it's kind of a delivery that you're sending it to Bhagavati, that is Homam. So when we start with Parayanam, then we can, once we actually are familiar with all the shlokas and we are perfect with it, then the next steps are the Archana. So if you have learned one shloka, you can do that one Archana with that one shloka. Important thing is to learn it correctly. So moving to the next thing. So as Shankaracharya says, Yadeva Vidyaya Karoti Tadeva Shraddhaya Upanishada and Viryavattaram Bhavati, he says. So anything, Yadeva means whatever you do with knowledge, with Shraddha, and with meditative thinking, with understanding the meaning of it, then that becomes supremely efficient, is what Shankaracharya says. He calls it Viryavattaram Bhavati. Sorry, I'm going to mute everyone so we don't have any background noises. So we've always believed in that. Even for Lalita Sahasram, Vishnu Sahasranamam, we've learned very deeper meanings, exotic meanings, almost like 5 to 6 meanings for each of the namas. For Devi Mahatmyam, we will not go that deep, otherwise we will never finish this, because there is so much to learn about the Mother Divine Mother. So we will learn brief meanings for important shlokas. But most important thing that we will do in the upcoming classes is just to learn how to chant. It is important to chant without mistakes. That's, period. So that's what we will learn. But we will also learn with meanings. So we get Ardha Sandhanam is what they say. Like, with meanings, if you chant, it is a lot more efficient than without. Then the next question comes is this mantra shastra? Is this from Vedam? What are the origins of Devi Mahatmyam? So we have two main sources when it comes to our scriptures. One is called Nigamam. Nigamam is Vedas. And then there is Agamas. Agamas are mantra shastras. So any homam, any puja, anything that we do, we generally, either it comes from Nigamam or Agamam. Nigamas have all the mantras. So Vedas don't tell us how to do. The procedural documents don't exist in Nigamas. They just give you the mantras. Agamas are how to use those mantras for any different, there are different benefits that we are seeking. Some might be seeking wealth, some other might be seeking power, somebody might be looking at, getting married. So Agamas tell you how to use the mantras that are in the Vedas. So these are more 99.99% of all our pujas, homas and everything come from the Nigamam, and Agamam tells us how to do it. This is Chandi Saptashati or Durga Mahatmyam, Devi Mahatmyam is the only text or scripture that is in the Puranas, that is used in the Agamas, that is mentioned in the Agamas to achieve benefits. So there is a reason, there must be a reason why it is so important, or so much of importance is placed for Devi Mahatmyam. So these are 13 chapters in the middle of Markandeya Puranam. There are 700 shlokas in this. Please note this down, because you will be seeing a lot of Markandeya Vacha during the shlokas, just like how we learn Bhagavan, Bhagavan Vacha in Gita. Here you will see Markandeya Vacha. So there are 13 chapters 74 to 96 of Markandeya Puranam. Is the Devi Mahatmyam, the name that is given. So who is the author? Can anybody say? If it's the source is Markandeya Purana, who is the author of Markandeya Purana?
Markandeya himself.
Vyasa.
Yeah, correct. So all the Puranas and Upapuranas have been authored by Vyasa Maharshi. So Devi Mahatmyam is the name that Vyasa Maharshi has given to these chapters 74 to 96. 74 to 96. Sorry, 86. So this is Devi Mahatmyam with 700 shlokas. So this is the only Purana part that can be used for homam according to Agama Shastra. So mantra viniyogam is what they call it. And any mantra, we try to do it for two reasons. One is Ishta Prapti and Arishta Nivritti or Arishta Pariharam. So, and even in Gita, we learned that there are only two things that we always want. One is whatever we like, we want more of it, and whatever we don't like, we want to get rid of it. So, I don't like rogas, so I want to get rid of it. I like, let's say, wealth. I want to accumulate more of it. So there are special mantras in all the Puranas, like, whatever we do in our scriptures, we have special mantras in most of them for getting, like, various benefits, whether it is, Ishta Prapti or Arishta Nivritti. Similarly, in Devi Mahatmyam also, there are specific shlokas for various purposes. The one that comes to mind right now is, in Devi Kavacham, it is not part of the 13 chapters, it's in addition to it. There is a shloka, Patni Manoramam Dehi, Manovrittanusarini, Tarini Durga Samsara, Sagarasya Kulodbhavam. So it is for getting married, having a wonderful wife, a Manorama type qualities of the girl that a person is looking for. So that is chanted for marriage, for example. So there are various kinds of benefits, and for each of those kind of benefits, there are separate slokas that you can chant and use as mantras. And the entire chant of 700 shlokas, as we learned before as well, is called as Mala Mantram. So in the past, when we were doing Lalita Sahasram, we took, there were so many Mala mantras, and we put brackets around those shlokas. In this case, all 700 shlokas is one Mala mantra. So doing parayana of that, get lots of benefits. And we all know that, Chandi Homam generally is understood as something that will remove Shatru Badhas. So that's also a generic benefit overall that you tend to get when you do chanting of this one. What else do we have? Okay, so one other thing that Shankaracharya has written a small Mahatmyam of Devi Mahatmyam. In that he mentions Apadi Kim Karaniyam Smaraniyam Charana Yugalam Ambayaha Tat Smaranam Kim Kurute Brahmadinapi Kinkari Kurute is what he says. It's a beautiful shloka. So Apadi means in apadas, in when you need help. Kim Karaniyam, what do you need to do during, like, any apada? Smaraniyam Charana Yugalam Ambayaha. So he says you just need to do the smarana of mothers, divine mothers, Charana Yugalam, her feet. So when you do that, what happens? So Tat Smaranam, he's asking the question again. Tat Smaranam Kim Kurute, what does that, how does that help? He says, Brahmadinapi Kinkari Kurute. So even Brahma, who writes our fate, who, the Talarata, so he also becomes a Kinkari. Kinkari means somebody who is surrendered. So Kinkaraniyam, and, like, they fold hands and waiting for us to order them. So such employees that you might have some staff members who are kinkaris. What can I do for you? So even Brahmadin api means even Brahma will become a kinkari for you, is how Shankaracharya mentions it. So when like, the world is against you and you're facing issues, so he says just Smaraniyam Charana Yugalam Ambayaha. Then she will make even Brahma your kinkari. So that's how powerful a mother's smaranam is. But when you talk about something like Devi Mahatmyam, and we will learn, like, why it is so powerful as we go through those shlokas. It is very, very powerful chant. As such, in Lalita Sahasram, when we went through all the deeper meanings and the deeper meanings, esoteric meanings of Lalita Sahasram, we've learned so much depth in those. Now think about some that 10x to that. As we go through the shlokas, you will understand why. In general, there are 13 chapters, as I mentioned, apart from 13 chapters in Markandeya Puranam. So before 13, chanting the 13 chapters, there is a Purvangam and then there is an Uttarangam. Like there are, just like how in Vishnu Sahasram we had Purva Pitika and Uttara Pitika, here also you have to chant a certain set of things beforehand. And then after finishing the 13 chapters, there are more chants that need to be completed. So I'll share quickly what those are. 1 second, let me share my screen. And if anybody is interested in taking note of these, I'll share this after the class. I just have it in an Excel. Please let me know if you can see it.
We can see it.
Perfect. So this is the actual traditional parayana vidhi. Especially these are mantras, as I mentioned, there are 700 mantras. So there is a Shapodhara mantra. We will go through that in the future. Then Jagriti Karanam, awakening the mantras and making them active and live. There is Utkilam mantra and Vrita Sanjeevini mantras. So these are like single line mantras that need to be chanted a certain number of times. So these we will learn at a later stage, not in the initial days. Once you finish those, then there is Devi Kavacham. That is the Rishi for Devi Kavacham is Brahma Rishi, then Vishnu Rishi and Shiva Rishi for these three stotras, Devi Kavacham, Argala Stotram and Kilakam. These are chanted. So there are these many shlokas in these. Then we chant Ratri Suktam. In Ratri Suktam, there is a Vedic Ratri Suktam and there is a Tantrokta Ratri Suktam. So depending on what is learned, people chant either both or one of them. So we will stick to Tantrokta Ratri Suktam for now during these classes. Then there is Navarna Vidhi, which is Navakshari mantra. There is a Chandi mantra. So there is a Vidhi for it. We all know the Nyasa, Sanganyasa, Karanyasa, etc. So that will be done. Then there is a Nyasa for Saptashati. So even for Devi Mahatmyam, there is a Nyasam. So that Nyasam is done. Then there are 13 chapters. So the like Madhukaita Bhavadha, Mahishasura Sainyavadha, Mahishasura Vadha, etc. So there are all these. So when you do the sum of it, it's 700 shlokas exactly. And when I say 700 shlokas, it's unlike Lalita Sahasram, Vishnu Sahasram, or even Bhagavad Gita. In Devi Mahatmyam, just when you say Markandeya Uvacha, that could be considered as a number. It is not a full Anushtup Chandas or full syllabled shlokam. But there are various locations where you see a single Uvacha also being considered as a number. And there is a reason for it. Vyasa Maharshi has embedded all the 7 crore mantras into 700 shlokas is what they say. That's why there are 700. That 700 number is very, we see very often, including Bhagavad Gita is 700 shlokas. So here, these are not full shlokas, but there are 700 mantras in this. And then we close Saptashati Nyasam. We close Navarna Vidhi, exactly like as I mentioned in the past. Nyasam is like your brackets. So when you put Nyasa in front of these brackets, all the 700 shlokas, and then they become like geometric proportion or exponential results is what you get. So times 1000, etc. So this is your opening bracket here with Navarna Vidhi, and then you're opening another bracket with Saptashati Nyasam. So you're closing the Saptashati Nyasa bracket and you're closing the Navarna Vidhi bracket. After that, we chant Devi Suktam. Here also, there is a Vedic Devi Suktam as well as a Tantrokta Devi Suktam. So we will learn Tantrokta Devi Suktam. Once we learn something in Vedam, like, especially Ganapati Atharva Sesham, we always start Veda with Ganapati Atharva Sesham, since we have not done those classes yet. So I'll be teaching only Tantrokta Devi Suktam in this sessions. Then there are 3 Rahasyams: Pradhanika Rahasyam, Vaikritika Rahasyam, and Murti Rahasyam. These are very important. Normally, when you chant in public ceremonies or during a homam, these are not chanted out loud. Only these are chanted, and homam is done only for these. And Havis is only given in this for the 13 chapters. Ajyam, which is like only ghee, is offered during the Kavacha and Arkala and Kilaka stotrams. No homam is done for the Rahasyams, and it is not chanted out loud because this is secretive knowledge that was given after the chapters are completed. So this is chanted secretly by a few that are assigned to do this chant. In any major Chandi homam, if you go to, there is somebody sitting in the corner and finishing these chants. And these days I have seen some of the Purohits not even doing this. Then there is Siddha Kunjika Stotram, which is a very, very powerful, embedded with lots of bijaksharas. It's a very, even to listen to it, it is very powerful. So that Siddha Kunjika Stotram is chanted. This is like, we don't leave without chanting this kind of mandatory shloka or mandatory stotram to be chanted. Then we do the Aparadha Kshamapana Stotram. So overall, there are about, if I just exclude all else, about 909 shlokas or mantras, you can call it mantras, to learn and chant. Anybody thinking, oh my God, that's too many? And just stop sharing for a moment. Okay, so that's the intro to the number of shlokas and chapters. Anybody wants to add anything before I move to the next part of the introduction? Okay. So these 13 chapters are divided into 3 sections. First section is called as the Prathama Charitram, which is just the first chapter. Prathama Charitram is focused on Mahakali. And Mahakali is described in the there is a dhyana shloka for each of the 13 chapters, by the way. And when you do dhyanam for the first chapter, Khadkam Chakragadeshu Champarigam, so that is Mahakali Dhyanam, and Mahakali is described to be in blue color. The blue as a sapphire blue, the shine of a sapphire blue is what it describes. So blue represents tamas, and tamas also, like it gives power. The benefits of chanting the first chapter is power. Mahakali provides the power. Then there is Madhyama Charitram, which is chapters 2, 3, and 4 are considered as Madhyama Charitram. And Madhyama Charitram Dhyana Shloka is for Mahalakshmi, and she is described to be in reddish color, reddish gold. And it represents Rajas, and the benefit of chanting 2, 3, and 4 is gaining wealth. Then the next set of chapters from 5 to 13 are called as Uttama Charitram, not Antima Charitram, because it's like the highest order. The Dhyana Shloka, it describes Ma Saraswati, Maha Saraswati. And if you remember from our Lalita Sahasram days, we learned that Kali is, or anything, any Bhagavan, which when we add Maha, like for example, Ganapati, and then when we add Maha Ganapati, that Maha is added only to the creator, creatress. So the Paradevata is what we are describing, not for example, when we say Ganapati, we say he will remove obstacles. But when we say Maha Ganapati, he is the creator of the entire universe. So similarly, here we are talking about Mahakali, Mahalakshmi, and Mahasaraswati. So Uttama Charitram describes Mahasaraswati to be in white in color, So she represents sattva and she provides knowledge. The benefit of chanting, the chapters 5 to 13 is gaining knowledge. And the reason why Vyasa Maharshi also showed only one chapter for Mahakali or power and 3 chapters for wealth and 8 chapters for knowledge. So they say it is the proportion that we need to spend of our life in order to gain these things. 1:3:9 chapters. So 3 times the effort of power is, you have to work on your wealth, and 3 times that is what you have to work on your knowledge. So that's generally it about Devi Mahatmyam. If there are any questions, anything that we need to discuss, anything that I might have missed, please jump in.
So I think you mentioned 1, 3, and 9, right? So one is for one is for the first one?
Power.
Power. Okay. Power and then wealth and knowledge. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
1, 3,
Can
and
you
8.
can you repeat the number of chapters for Prathama Charitram versus Madhyama Charitram again?
So
The
Prathama
numbers?
Charitram is one chapter, chapter 1 only. Then Madhyama
Okay.
Charitram is chapters 2 to 4. Uttama Charitram is 5 to 13.
Okay, thank you.
Satiji, did you want to add anything?
No, did you say 1:3 to 8 or 9?
9.
9.
Yeah.
Thank
From 5 to 30. Okay, so we will move to chanting rules if there are no further discussions on this one. I don't know how many of you attended our LSN BSN classes. Anybody who has attended it already has heard me talk about the chanting rules a lot of times. So it might be a bit of repetition for them. But nonetheless, I have to do it. I'm very particular about how we chant, and I want to share with you why I feel that way, or any for that matter, not just me. I'm just a basic sadhaka, but even jnanis, anybody will say when you're chanting with the meaning, the depth, the shraddha, and follow the exact chanting rules. So we all know about the 72,000 nadis. We all know the chakras in the body. There are 108 plus chakras. There are minor, major chakras. There are 7 major chakras, of which, the Sahasrara is the destination, if you talk about, the yogic parlance. So when we are chanting or when we are doing puja, all of these are, or when we do pranayama, for example, or when we are doing yoga, any of these paths that we take, everything is supposed to lead us to knowledge. And that knowledge has a lot of factors on, it is not just a knowledge about, there is subjective knowledge and objective knowledge. Objective knowledge is I want to learn about this phone, then I hold it, I can feel it, I can use it, I can smell, taste, whatever it, all the senses will help me understand more, about any object. So that is objective knowledge. When we go through our education throughout our life, it is always teaching us about the world, and whether it is chemistry, physics, or math, or anything that you take, we are learning about something else. The only scriptures are the only knowledge place where we get to know about ourselves. It gives us subjective knowledge. And what we learn then is, when we always talk about, Bhagavan is outside, and subjective knowledge is trying to tell us Bhagavan is inside. And there are, the Aham Brahmasmi is the ultimate goal of all the knowledge that we try to gain from scriptures. When in order to get that, there are 2 different, again, like when we get the Aham Brahmasmi knowledge, it's very simple for somebody, like, Guruji will sit down and explain everything and say, okay, Tattvamasi. It is very easy for me to say, okay, Aham Brahmasmi, my Guruji told me to just do the japam of Aham Brahmasmi. I have done it 10,000 times. Therefore, I know that I am Brahman. is, it's called as aparoksha, paroksha anubhuti, which means it is an external knowledge. It's only a literary like knowledge in my head. I really do not understand, or I have not experienced that Brahman within me. And that experience is called as aparoksha anubhuti. In order to get to that aparoksha anubhuti, when we chant, when we do pujas, when we do meditation, pranayama, or yoga, or anything that we do as sadhana, they have to hit a few nadis in our bodies, and those nadis have to be cleared. And there are fluoride deposits from all the food and water that we consume. The fluoride deposits have covered our chakras, and those chakras have to be relieved from those fluoride deposits. And the nadis, the messages, like all the what's the word that I'm looking at? The synapses. So those have to pass without any obstacle, and lots of clearing has to be done within as well. Then the chakras open up, and they say, like, the petals are always, the chakras have petals around them. We've learned that during our lesson sessions. So chakras are actually facing downwards. And when you do all the chanting, when you awaken them, and we've learned some methodologies to awaken them as well. So the petals are up, they move upwards and they lighten up. During this process is when any knowledge that is passing, the Kundalini, we have learned all of that again, I'm not going to repeat, but Kundalini that is in the Nidrana state in the Muladhara chakra, she needs to pass through all these chakras. So there has to be a pathway that needs to be built for the easy flow of Kundalini. And from Muladhara to Sahasrara, when she reaches, that's when you get the Aparoksha Anubhuti. This is kind of the essence, the basic understanding. In order to clear all these nadis, any activity that we do, for example, when we do yoga, we can say we've done 108 Surya Namaskaras, but Surya Namaskara goes along with pranayama. So when you do the pranayama, each movement has, like, either acceleration or inhalation that go with it. And when you do that, then suddenly, like, the mind starts just, gathering itself. The thoughts start being, the thoughts go away. There are less vrittis, and you start focusing on yourself. And that's only how you can understand the Parabrahman within us. Similarly, when you're chanting, doing it with the correct rules of chant and the way our rishis have expected us to do. When you do that, those fluoride deposits or the obstacles within the nadis get cleared. So it is extremely important to chant the right way. And what is the right way is given in Shikshavalli of Taittiriya Upanishad. So there are 6 factors to what does chanting the right way means. One is Varna, which means there are vowels, the R to Aha in Sanskrit or Sanskritam, the first set of, like, R to Aha is the Swaras. Then we have Vyanjanas, which is the consonants from Ka to Ksha. Then we have conjunct consonants, which is Samyuktaksharas, a combination of so swaras are always in combination of the consonants or the vyanjanas, but when there are 2 vyanjanas and a swara that are added, that's called as a samyuktakshara. For example, like I just said, A to Aha is swaras, Ka to Ksha is vyanjanas. But if I say something like kluptam, Kl means KL, Ka and La added to the Likara. So that has become a conjunct consonant. So when there are matras. So how long do we need to give to each of these aksharas? At some point during lesson classes, we've also learned that these aksharas are Matrika Devis. We have learned the names of each of those Matrika Devis of the 56 aksharas. If anybody remembers those. So they say, my Guruji used to give an analogy of, if we are visiting a temple, each of the akshara is a Devi and she has a temple. So by when you are visiting, you're not going to visit first temple and then skip the second one and go to the third. You will be spending same amount of time as you spent in the first, second, third. You go in a sequential order. If you visualize a lane, like a lane full of temples within the same compound of the temple Avarana. So if we say kliptam, kl has ka and la, and you need to give enough emphasis to both of those. So don't just skip. In English, English has spoiled our language or language abilities because we have silent letters. We just skip through or brush through some of the letters, in a word. But in Sanskritam, if there is a word, there is nothing meaningless in Sanskrit. So when you are chanting something, you have to chant each and everything that you are seeing, and give it enough emphasis to it. So that's Varna. Then Swara actually applies only to Vedic chanting, so I'm not going through Swaras. So that is the second one that Shikshavali talks about. Then there is Matra, which is how short or long a character is. For example, Hasvam, which is like a single Matra. Which is like, for example, my name is Shri, Devi, all three are Dhirgams. So they all require two matras. So I cannot say Shri, I have to say Shri with a Dhirgam. So there is Harasvam, which is the short vowel, and Dhirgam, which is the long vowel. Then Balam, which is Alpa Prana and Mahaprana. In some of our regional languages, we don't have this Alpa and Mahaprana, so many are not used to it, especially if you are from Tamil Nadu, or if you're reading from a Tamil book. Do note the importance of Alpa Prana and Mahaprana. For example, the is Alpa Prana, the is Mahaprana. When you say the, there is a pounding effect in the body, and that is extremely important. There are certain others, like the is one kind of emphasis, and the, for example, has a lot more emphasis. These pounding effects are very important to clear the obstacles in the nadis. So wherever I say that is a Mahaprana Dha or Mahaprana Tha, whenever I say Mahaprana, if it is not written in your text, if you are reading from Tamil especially, if it is not written there, please note it separately and practice as a Mahaprana. It's very important. Then Samaha, which is balance. They say like, don't sing these chants. They are supposed to be chanted in a certain way according to respect the Chandas rules. So we will learn the way that rishis wanted us and how it is passed on to us by the lineage of gurus. So please do chant only in that way. Please don't sing these shlokas. Then Santanaha, which is Sandhi rules. There are very specific Sandhi rules in Sanskritam, how we combine word to word. Samyuktakshara is the combination of Akshara to Akshara. Sandhis are combination of word and how it links to the next word. So as we go through the shlokas, where there are Sandhis, I'll give some explanations, and please chant them together. So I'm not going to emphasize more on chanting rules, thinking instead of spending a lot of time, because many of you already know it. If there is a need for it, and there are a lot of members who would like to learn a little bit more about chanting it correctly, please do send a message in the group. If there is enough people that require it, then I'll hold a separate 15-20 minute class for that on learning the nasal sounds. Just going to share a picture. Where is that? This one. Share screen. Sanskritam alphabet is organized in a very sophisticated way. I did mention in the past as well during previous chanting classes. So these are alpa pranas, these are mahapranas. Again, this is alpa prana, this is mahaprana, and anunasika means where the sound comes from. So kantaha, these set of letters, ka, kha, ga, gha, u, all of those, the sound comes from the kantha, the neck, this part of the neck, and they are organized in one set. Then we have taluhu, cha, cha, ja. So these are like the tongue movement, tongue touching the palate at the front of the palate. Then murdha, ha, when your tongue actually has to roll in order to make that sound and touch a different part of the upper jaw palate. So that is called as murdha. Then dantaha, ta. So your tongue is touching the teeth, the back side of the teeth to produce these sounds. Ta, tha, da, tha, na. And oftau, which means you have to close your lips and move your lips quite a bit in order to chant or pronounce these letters like pa, pa, ba, bha, ma. So it is important to understand why and what part of your oral apparatus is being used to produce these sounds. Because if you produce it correctly, the effects of what you're chanting, or the benefits of what you're chanting will come through. And some people ask, okay, what if I chant wrong? Will Devi be angry on me? She is the mother, she will not be angry. She might be irritated if we are we know the perfect rules to chant and we have perfected it and still are, showing a bit of ashraddha and not chanting it correctly. She may be a bit irritated with it. But when we are starting, just like a baby is starting to take steps, and in that they are not doing it correctly, a mother will not get annoyed. So don't worry about the repercussions. Oh, if I didn't chant well. It is our intention, it is our bhakti, it is our conviction and shraddha that are more important in the beginning, early stages. As we learn, as we practice, she will, as we always say, you take one step towards her, she'll take 10 steps towards you. So start chanting with shraddha and bhakti, and she will take you from there. Any other questions? Anything that we need to talk about? Shall we move to learning Durga Sapta Shloki?
Devi Bhagini, I have a question.
Sure.
You mentioned 6 rules of chanting as per the Shikshavali. The last one you mentioned Santana, something like what?
Santanaha.
Could you please explain a little bit further on that?
It is Sandhi rules essentially, Ajay Mahoday. So Santanaha means like how the words kind of are conjugated together.
Okay. Okay. Okay,
And
thank you.
of course, in the same Santanaha, we also have how to, for example, the Anuswara Sandhi or the Swarna Sandhi, Suvarna Sandhi. All of those rules are to be followed is what Santana is a text for it.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Sounds good. So we will go.
Shriji, are we deciding on the time now itself, Shriji, or after that?
That's a good point. I've already taken up 45 minutes for this.
I was hesitant to raise it, but I was like, let's nail it down before we move.
Yeah, I think we should just probably talk about it if we can finish it in like a minute or two. I think ideally everybody wants it over the weekend. Is that right?
Yes,
Yes,
Shruti. And Sunday evening,
Saturday.
mornings,
What
Saturday
do we
morning,
do?
used
Saturday
to-
morning,
Yeah, Saturday mornings.
Saturday or Sunday mornings.
Saturday, Sunday mornings, like how we used to do for LSN VSN.
Yeah,
Saturday
that will be
morning.
Saturday
morning.
morning,
will work.
Yeah.
Yes.
9 a.m. Yes, Eastern time.
Yes, that will work, Shruti.
Sure.
Okay, 9 a.m. Eastern time is 10. So what's that? 7:30 p.m. India time. Right? Yeah, 7:30 p.m.
8:30, right, Srini? Oh, yeah.
Eastern time.
CST. Yeah, I'm talking about Eastern, sorry. So 7:30 p.m. India time on Saturday, which means
Friday.
On
Friday.
Friday. Mm.
no, Saturday.
Oh, no, not Saturday night. Sorry.
Yeah, Saturday evening, 7:30 p.m. in India, which is 9 a.m. Eastern time in North America.
And that is Sunday, Sriji? Sunday would be better?
Sat-
Or
Saturday.
3G, you have to factor in time change also once, like, because March comes, time change will happen.
Correct. In which case it'll become 6:30 p.m., which is better actually in a way.
Yeah, for you. Yeah.
Yeah. So 6:30 p.m. And I'm actually back in Canada next week.
Oh, I
Oh,
was just
nice.
going to ask that. And
Yes.
okay,
So I'm back on the 27th, I believe.
awesome. Welcome.
great.
And how
So-
long would the class be, Shriji?
I think it should be an hour. If we finish earlier and if we feel like, some specific shlokas are a bit tongue twisters, then we'll probably reduce it to 45 minutes and take a short break. There are some tongue twisters in this. You will notice that it is unlike any other Purana, any other text that we have learned. This has lots of, it won't have bijaksharas, but the bijaksharas embedded in such a secretive way. I'll give one example. When we start the actual, Prathama Charitram first chapter, the first line itself, Savarni Surya Tanayo, in that there is a bijakshara. And he put in like the Bhuvaneshwari Bijam in that. And many of you know Bhuvaneshwari Bijam. So I'd like to take a bit of time just to make sure that, we are doing it correctly. So I want an hour, but some days we might just, close it a little early.
And we buy the book from Gita Press. Is that what you
Gita
recommend?
Press, yeah, Gita Press, let's buy that. There are some changes that we will make to it. We will learn according to Bhaskara Raya's chant, how he has prescribed it. There are a few variations, but whether you chant those variations or not is okay. But the most important thing is the Navakshari mantra and how there are two different variations. So Gita Press book will have the shlokas.
Sriji,
Uh-huh.
Sriji, sorry, you mentioned Bhaskara Raya. That is Bhaskara Prakash Ashram thing, right? No? No, okay.
Yeah. Bhaskara Raya is a 16th century scholar who
Yeah.
has,
No,
who is
no, I
Devi's.
meant to, do they follow Bhaskara Raya principles? That's what I'm asking.
So they
Bhaskara.
named their trust Bhaskara, in respect to Bhaskara.
Oh,
Bhaskara.
I see. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
So we are all like, any Srividya Upasakas, most of us follow Bhaskara Raya. So Shankaracharya, our lineage comes from, obviously Bhagavan, Shiva, Narayana, Sadashiva, and then Vyasa Maharshi, Shankaracharya, and when it comes to Srividya, we actually include Bhaskara Raya in that lineage, most of us. So he is an ultimate bhakta of Devi, and he was able to see the 64 crore Devis, and there are lots of great what we'll say historic events that have happened during his lifetime. He is I think born in somewhere in Telangana, Hyderabad, then moved quite a bit in Kashi, and ultimately his samadhi is in Tanjavur, I believe. And the bhashyam that we learned for Lalita Sahasram was based on Bhaskara Raya's bhashyam. For Devi Mahatmyam, there are, I think, what I have books of about 7 bhashyams, all in Sanskrit. So I have to literally translate that when I'm doing the sessions, but I'll only be doing very brief meanings, otherwise it'll take forever. There are, what I hear is there are more than 13 commentaries on Devi Mahatmyam. So we will be using Bhaskara Raya's commentary primarily, just for brief meanings. Yeah. I don't know why Bhaskara Raya topic came up, so I forgot. Yeah, so we'll do 7:30 p.m. IST and 9 a.m. Eastern time. After March, first Sunday of March, it will become 6:30 p.m. IST and 9 a.m. Eastern time. 1 hour.
Saturday, right, Sriji?
What's that?
Saturday.
Saturday. Yes.
Saturday.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sriji. Beautiful.
Okay, we'll learn
Thank
one
you.
shloka of saptashloki because all of us just know me missing you all and chatting away. So we'll at least do one shloka now. I sent a link to the Sri Durga Saptashloki, or it's also called Saptashloki Durga. So there are 7 shlokas from Chandi part or Devi Mahatmyam that are extracted. These are like, most important, but there are so many important shlokas in Devi Mahatmyam. But these are extracted as very, very important, considered very important. So we'll learn 1 or 2 shlokas in this, and then we'll move to end for today, and then we'll come back to this next week. So does everybody have that link open on your browser?
Yes, Sriji.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
So the first shloka is Shiva Uvacha Devi Tvam Bhakta Sulabhe Sarvakarya Vidhayini Kalauhi Karya Siddhyartham Upayam Bruhi Yatnataha. Those are the words. So we'll chant this. I would need a volunteer to chant it twice with me. Padmaji, can I pick you? You're on mute.
Sriji, I'm looking at the Sanskrit words. Maybe
Can
this
you
time
share the screen, please?
Sorry, what's that? You wanted the link? It's
No,
in
yeah, I have the link, but I'm not seeing where you're reading from.
Yep, that's the only thing.
Okay. So this is the link that I just sent along with the Zoom invite. Is that what you have?
You kept it in the description, right?
It's
Not in the description. That is the full Sapta Shloka. That is the full Devi Mahatmyam. The one that I shared along with the Zoom.
It is the Sanskrit document.
Yeah, Sanskrit documents 1. So Durga Sapta Shloki.
Devi Tvam. Yeah, got it. Got it, Sriji.
Okay. Shiva Uvacha.
Om Shiva Uvacha
Devi Tvam Bhakta Sulabhe
Devi Tvam Bhakta Sulabhe
Sarvakarya Vidhayini
Sarvakarya Vidhayini
Kalauhi Karya Siddhyartham
Kalauhi Karya Siddhyartham
Upayam Bruhi Yatnataha.
Upayam Ruhi Yatnataha.
Do one more time. Shiva Uvacha
Shiva Uvacha
Devi Tvam Bhakta Sulabhe
Devi Tvam Bhakta Sulabhe
Sarvakarya Vidhayini
Sarvakarya Vidhayini
Kalauhi Karya Siddhyartham
Kalauhi Karya Siddhyartham
Upayam Bruhi Yatnataha.
Upayam Bruhi Yatnataha.
Awesome. So we'll do this next shloka. Arvindji, can I pick you now?
Sorry,
If
did you
you
call
don't
me?
mind, can you send the link back again?
You haven't found the link? Okay, let me
Yeah.
just put it back in the
శ్రీజీ మీరు పంపించింది 66 పేజెస్ కదండి దానిలో లేదండి ఇది ఎన్నో పేజో చెప్పగలరు
నేను ఇప్పుడు మళ్ళీ
యా అదే వెతుక్కుంటున్నాం
ఫాలో అవ్వలేకపోయామండి
ఓకే 1 second.
శ్రీజీ అప్పుడప్పుడు తెలుగులో కూడా చెప్తారా కొంచెం పేరెంట్స్ కూడా జాయిన్ అయ్యారు ఈ క్లాస్ లో మీరు ఏమనుకోకుండా
డెఫినెట్లీ
యా థ్యాంక్ యూ అండి
ఇప్పుడు నేను పెట్టాను చూడండి ఒకసారి ఆ జూమ్ ఇన్వైట్ పెట్టాను కదా దాంట్లో ఒకసారి
అది లింక్ రాలేదండి
అవునా ఒక్క నిమిషం
యా లింక్ రాలేదు
ఓకే ఇప్పుడు వచ్చిందా చూడండి దేవి మహాత్మ్యం గ్రూప్ లో
రీపోస్ట్ అయింది శ్రీజీ
అయిందండి ఓకే So ఇందులో అన్ని లాంగ్వేజెస్ ఉన్నాయి. So if you go to this corner, ఇక్కడ నుంచి మనం ఏ లాంగ్వేజ్ కావాలంటే ఆ లాంగ్వేజ్ సెలెక్ట్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. Does everybody have it now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we'll go to the next shloka. Devyuvacha
Devyuvacha
Shrunudeva Pravakshyami
Shrunudeva Pravakshyami
Kalau Sarveshta Sadhanam
Kalau Sarveshta Sadhanam
Maya Tavaiva Snehena
Maya Tavaiva Snehena
Apyam Bastutif Prakashyate
Apyam Vastutif Prakashyate
Devyuvacha
Devyuvacha
Shrunudeva Pravakshyami
Shrunudeva Pravakshyami
Kalau Sarveshta Sadhanam
Kalau Sarveshta Sadhanam
Maya Tavaiva Snehena
Maya Tavaiva Snehena
Apyam Stutif Prakashyate.
Apyam Vastutif Prakashyate.
Awesome. So, next, Anita.
Snehena dirgham. Is there dirgham snehena or snehena?
ఎందుకంటే రెండు I broke the sentence, right? Like a
Right.
Snehena plus apyamba stutihi. So if I chanted it fully, then I would say, because that additional a that is here would be a dirgham for the previous one. So if I chanted the full sentence, then I would say the dirgham. Maya tavaiva snehena apyamba stutif prakashyate.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Anita, to the next Om Asya Shri. Anita.
Yes.
Om Asya Shri Durga Sapta Shloki Stotra Mahamantrasya
Om Ashya Sri Durga Sapta Shloki Stotra Mahamantrasya
Narayana Rishihi
Narayana Rishihi
Anuštubhadini Chandansi
Anuštubha Devi Chandansi
Shri Mahakali Mahalakshmi Mahasarasvatyo Devatah
Shri Mahakali Mahalakshmi Mahasarasvatyo Devatah
Shri Durga Prityarthe Sapta Shloki Durga Pathe Viniyogah
Shri Durga Prityardham Sapta Shloki Durga Pathe Viniyogah.
Awesome. So here important I should mention to everybody, Rishi, when we say any Rishi for any mantra, when it comes to Rishi, we touch the Sahasrara. When it comes to Chandas, we touch the nose because it's like the prana of any stotram or any scripture. Then Devata comes in the heart. So when Anita ji and I will repeat this one, please, use that. Om Asya Shri Durga Sapta Shloki Stotra Mahamantrasya
Om Ashya Sri Durga Sapta Shloki Stotra Mahamantrasya
Narayana Rishihi
Narayana Rishihi
Anuštubhadini Chandansi
Anuštubhadini Chandamshi
Shri Mahakali Mahalakshmi Mahasarasvatyo Devatah
Shri Mahakali Mahalakshmi Mahasarasvatyo Devatah
Shri Durga Prityarthe Sapta Shloki Durga Pathe Viniyogah
Shri Durga Prityardham Sapta Shloki Durga Pathe Viniyogah.
Awesome. So we'll just do this. The Jnaninam Api Chetamsi is from the first chapter of Devi Mahatmyam. So I wanted to do at least one shloka from the original text. Okay, Ranjani ji, yeah, absolutely. Please, let's do it.
Namaste. No, I was not volunteering. Sorry, Shriji. In that, I just have a doubt. Is it Prityartham or Prityarthe there?
Yes, both will be okay. Prityarthe means for the sake of Durga. They said Prityartham, but I would have preferred Prityarthe.
Okay, because the script says Prityartham, so I just wanted to clarify. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, would you like to chant, Ranjani ji?
Yes, I can try.
Jnaninaamapi chetamsi
Jnaninaamapi chetamsi
Devi Bhagavati hi sa
Devi Bhagavati hi sa
Baladakrisya mohaya
Baladakrisya mohaya
Mahamaya prayachati
Mahamaya prayachati
Jnaninaamapi chetamsi
Jnaninaamapi chetamsi
Devi Bhagavati hi sa
Devi Bhagavati hi sa
Baladakrisya mohaya
Baladakrisya mohaya
Mahamaya prayachati.
Mahamaya prayachati.
We'll do the full line. Jnaninaamapi chetamsi Devi Bhagavati hi sa
Jnaninaamapi chetamsi Devi Bhagavati hi sa
Baladakrisya mohaya Mahamaya prayachati.
Baladakrisya mohaya Mahamaya prayachati.
Awesome. So it's 7:03. We'll probably conclude here. And next week we'll finish the Durga Sapta Shloki. Every day I recommend all of you to chant this because it's only going to take a minute or two. So memorize this as much as possible. And after that, we'll start with Devi Kavacham once we finish the Durga Sapta Shloki. So what I wanted to mention also was when the Chandi Homam is done, you are expected to have the mantra diksha to do homam or to participate in a homam, etc. But it is not mandatory to just chant for yourself and not participating as a ritvik. So you will have the option whether you want to take the mantra diksha. When you have mantra diksha, you are expected to chant that mantra on a daily basis. There are a few restrictions to it. So I will not, nobody makes it mandatory to take mantra. What we will do is, once we finish Devi Kavacham, Margala Stotram and Keelakam, the first three, the Purvanga, then you can decide at that time whether you want the mantra or not. And then at that time, we'll have a separate mantra session. We'll just do a muhurtam and we'll go accordingly. Note that it is not mandatory. You can chant without the mantra diksha. So when it comes to that mantra diksha and Navarna Vidhi, and then at that time you can skip that class. I'll teach the ones that that want the mantra diksha, and then you just continue with the rest of the classes as is. No restrictions on that. Any questions before we conclude? Anything that I missed?
Shriji, will you record it? Sorry.
I
Will you record and send this?
Yeah, I recorded it. I'll upload.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Shriji.
I'll upload.
Yeah, can you please let me know regarding the mantra diksha process and all, maybe offline? I
Yeah.
would like to know.
Yeah. So once we get to let's first finish the Devi Kavacham, Argala Sotram and Keelakam. So that will take us a few sessions. After that, you feel like, okay, I want to chant this, I want to do this upasana, I want to do, do this more seriously. At that time, you can decide. So
Sure.
I'll share more details about Mantra Diksha just before, first let's get, these chants are not even part of Devi Mahatmyam. As I mentioned, they are elsewhere in the Puranas, they are brought as Purvangam. And Kavacham is she makes a shield around us. So that's essentially, she protects. So Kavacham, anybody can learn and you can chant on a daily basis. So no restrictions for that at all, no need for Mantra Diksha for that. So we'll finish these three chants and then we'll talk about mantra.
Sure. Thank you.
Anything else?
Shriji, feeling blessed. I've not had this feeling for a long time. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Thank you.
Shriji, where is the recording?
So currently it's still recording and it's recorded to my laptop. And this is what I've done in the past, to record it to the laptop, and I won't get time to upload it to YouTube. From next week onwards, I'll just do YouTube live, I guess. So it will be immediately uploaded to YouTube. Today it is recording to my computer. So I'll just wait until it downloads and then I'll upload it to YouTube. I'll share the link in the group.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Class will be once a week or like
Once
can I
a
know?
week, yeah, once a week, Saturdays, Eastern time, 9 a.m. on
Oh,
Saturday.
no
Next-
Fridays? No Fridays?
Not Fridays.
Oh, okay. Got it.
ఇవాళ
Thank you.
ముహూర్తం ఉందని చెప్పి వాళ్ళ అష్టమి
Okay. Okay.
మాఘ నవరాత్రులు కదా, శ్యామ నవరాత్రి అష్టమి.
Asha.
అష్టమికి త్వరిత అమ్మవారు అనమాట. త్వరిత అంటే వన్స్ యాక్చువల్లీ స్పీడన్స్ ఆఫ్ ఆర్జ అని. సో అందుకని అలానే పెట్టాను. బట్ నెక్స్ట్ వీక్ నుంచి సాటర్డే మార్నింగ్స్ 9 AM.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shriji. Awesome class.
Awesome, everybody.
So good
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you very
Shriji.
much.
To be back.
Are we finishing with the
Yes, thank you for reminding. Yes, we need to finish. I was so excited. I was okay.
Thank you, Sri Devi. Bye.
ధన్యవాదాः శ్రీజీ. పునర్మిలామः.
పూర్ణాత్ పూర్ణముదచ్యతే పూర్ణస్య పూర్ణమాదాయ పూర్ణమేవావశిష్యతే. ఓం శాంతి శాంతి శాంతి. హరి ఓం శ్రీ గురుభ్యో నమః. హరి ఓం. లోకా సమస్తా సుఖినో భవంతు. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a
Thank
wonderful
you. Thank you very much.
Question anytime.
Thank you, Shriji.
Thank you, Shriji. Thank you, Shriji. Thank